We're about 2/3 of the way through the season now, GMs are back in rotation, and we need to know what the auto rifle meta is, especially since we have anti-barrier auto rifles. We gotta know which weapons we're bringing into GMs and which weapons are gonna shred in lower end content. Well, stick around because I've got you covered on all the best auto rifles and the best rolls for each of those auto rifles. Before we jump into the guns individually, let's talk about the different frames that you can get on an auto rifle. First of all, we have the rapid fire frame. This is going to be the fastest firing frame. They're going to shoot at around 720 rounds per minute, and they're going to have deeper ammo reserves, meaning that you're going to be throwing out a lot of bullets, but they're going to be doing low damage. Then we have adaptive frames. These shoot very, very fast at 600 rounds per minute, and they're all around just a good option. Their magazine isn't quite as high as a rapid fire frame, but they're still going to put out decent damage, and they're still going to have a pretty large magazine. Then we have precision frames, and these are going to be very easy to control as far as recoil goes. They're also very, very potent in PvP, but that's not what we're focused on today. We're focused on PvE. These are all around very good weapons, and I would highly recommend you use these in all content. We also have high impact frames. These are going to shoot very, very slow at 360 rounds per minute, so that's half of a rapid fire frame, and they're going to hit like a truck. So they're going to have high recoil, high damage output, and shoot really slow. These are very, very good options for PvE, especially in higher end content. And before we jump into the individual weapons, I want to talk about the masterwork, and the masterwork is the same all across the board. We have handling and reload speed. Reload speed, of course, is going to give you your bullets back faster. You're just going to reload faster. Then, of course, we have handling. Handling is just going to make each of these guns feel a little more smooth. You're going to move around faster. You're going to aim faster, stuff like that. All right, now that we've established our masterwork, let's jump straight into the first category, and this is the kinetic category. First of all, I want to talk about the duty bound. The duty bound comes from Nightfalls. So if you play a Grandmaster, you're going to get an adept version, and if you play whatever different difficulty Nightfall you want, you have a chance at getting a regular duty bound. This is an adaptive frame auto rifle, so it's high rate of fire and it's got a high magazine, and it's all around just a very good weapon. It's my personal belief that the magazine and the barrel are really up to the user, so I'm going to be suggesting the same two for each weapon. These are just the ones that I like, but you pick what you like. For the barrel, I like to pick arrowhead brake because I get a better recoil direction and I get some more handling. It just makes the gun feel a little more smooth, and so that's my pick on just about every auto rifle. Then for the magazine, tactical magazine is great. You get a few more bullets, decreased reload time, and you get some more stability. Alloy magazine is also one of my favorites because it allows you to reload faster when the magazine is empty. But now let's jump into the perks. In the first column, there's not too many options for this weapon, but Stats for All is a great pick. Basically, when you hit 3 separate targets, you're getting a boost to your range, stability, handling, and reload speed. So this thing is going to become much faster and much more efficient in almost every category except for damage. And that's where our second perk column comes in. We have One for All. One for All is the same thing as Stats for All, where you have to hit 3 separate targets to activate it. And once you do that, you get a 35% damage increase. So these two perks go hand in hand. You hit 3 separate targets, you're getting a boost to a ton of stats, and you're getting a 35% damage increase. It lasts for 10 seconds. So basically, you're going to have an overpowered auto rifle for about 10 seconds. Then you just have to wait a few seconds and reactivate it again. So in theory, this thing is always going to be active, and you're always going to have a very strong auto rifle. Now, if you don't like that perk combo, we also have a somewhat unique trait to this weapon, and that is triple tap and 4 times the charm. When you land 3 precision hits, you're going to be getting 1 back in the magazine, and then if you land 4 precision hits, you're getting a few bullets back in the magazine on top of that. So, in theory, if you land 4 precision hits, you're going to be getting around 3 to 4 bullets back in the magazine, and if you just keep hitting those precision hits, you shouldn't have to reload for a very long time. We also have Frenzy. Frenzy is going to give you 15% damage increase, and you're going to get more handling and more reload speed, and this lasts for quite a while, and this stays active for basically the entirety of whatever activity you're in, because all you have to do is stay in combat, and you're almost always in combat. We also have Rampage, where you can kill up to 3 enemies, and each enemy is going to give you a stacking damage boost. So if you kill 3 enemies relatively quickly, you're going to be getting a 33% damage increase. Now, I want to talk about the origin traits on this weapon. It has 2. One that comes from Grandmaster Strikes, and this is the Stunning Recovery. Every time you stun a champion with this weapon, it's going to partially reload your magazine. It's also going to trigger your health regen and improve your recovery for a short duration. We also have another origin trait called Vanguard's Vindication, and this allows you to get a little bit of health back on every single kill. This is very, very good for raids and all sorts of content like that, where the enemies don't have too much health and you can tear through them pretty quickly. We also have another pick for the kinetic slot, and this is the Last Breath auto rifle. This comes from the Prophecy Dungeon in the Cube encounter. It is an adaptive frame, just like the last one. You want to treat this weapon just like the duty bound with the same barrel and magazine and last column perk, but we're going to switch it up with the first column perk. So instead of Stats for All, you can go with Demolitionist on this. The reason why I would choose the Last Breath over the duty bound is because if you don't care about that stat boost from Stats for All, you can choose Demolitionist instead. and this allows you to get grenade energy back and then reload your weapon when you throw a grenade. So for me, this is just a little more efficient because I don't necessarily care about those stats. I care more about getting my grenade back faster. Moving on from kinetic, we're going to jump into solar, and we have the Amit AR2 auto rifle. It is a precision frame, so it's going to be slower firing, but it's going to be very easy to control the recoil, and it's going to hit very, very hard. This is a absolutely fantastic weapon, and it's very, very easy to get. I guarantee you already have the ability to craft this weapon in your inventory. If you don't, just go to the Enclave, and there's a little quest box off to the left side of where you would craft weapons, and it'll give you a quest, and you will unlock the weapon blueprint for this and be able to craft it. Then when it comes to perks, in the first column, we have Stats for All and Triple Tap. Stats for All, again, is going to give you some increase to stats if you hit 3 separate targets, and then Triple Tap is going to give you a bullet back after rapidly hitting 3 precision shots. Those are both really good options. I'm going to go with Stats for All personally. Then in the last perk column, we have a few options as well. We have One for All. This is a very good combo if you're not looking for a scorching build. Hit 3 separate targets, you're getting stats and damage. It's a great option. We also have Incandescent, and this is what puts this gun over the top. If you're running any sort of solar build, this is going to make things explode, and this is going to spread Scorch to lots of enemies. And this right here, Stats for All Incandescent, is my favorite way to run this weapon. You can also run Adrenaline Junkie if you like having a stacking damage bonus as you kill enemies. It takes a little bit to get it ramped up, but it's a good option. Moving on from solar, we jump right into arc, and the first one up is Come to Pass, and this is a high impact frame. So again, it's going to be hitting very, very hard, but shooting very slow. This comes from the Witch Queen expansion, so you're going to have to go play some Wellspring to get this. You probably already have it. It's very easy to unlock. The great part about this weapon is that it's craftable, and it has 2 perks that go very, very well together. Again, for the barrel and magazine, same as I've always said, but for the perk columns, we're going Stats for All and One for All. It's just a very good perk combo. The synergy is very good, and I highly recommend it. If you really don't want to go for that, we also have Triple Tap, and we've got Dragonfly. Wellspring is good too, but I would highly recommend you do not miss out on One for All. Then we also have an alternative to the Come to Pass. If you do not like a slow firing auto rifle, we also have a rapid fire frame auto rifle called the Sweet Sorrow. The Sweet Sorrow comes from the Season of the Risen activity, so just go play that, go to the vendor, unlock some red borders, and eventually you'll get it. It's the same perks all around, Stats for All and One for All. It's going to behave just like the weapon before. It's going to put out lots of damage. You're going to be getting increased stats, but it's going to shoot extremely fast. Now, again, if you don't like these 2 perks, we also have Demolitionist. It's a very good option. And we also have Triple Tap. Now, for all of you free-to-play players out there who do not have any DLC, we also have this arc weapon right here, the Sorrow's Verse. And I would highly recommend you go with the same barrel and the same magazine that I've been suggesting before. So Arrowhead Break, Tactical Magazine, Alloy Magazine, something like that. As far as the perks go for this weapon, we've got quite a few choices. We've got 4 times the charm, Subsistence, and my favorite, Feeding Frenzy. Feeding Frenzy, basically, every time you get a kill, you're going to be decreasing the amount of time it takes to reload. So if you get up to 5 kills, your reload speed is going to be like 80% less. It's very fast reload speed. And then for the last perk column, we have tons and tons of options. We have Wellspring. This is going to give you some ability energy back after every single kill. Then we have Frenzy. Staying in combat is going to give you a stat boost and a damage boost. We also have One for All. This is going to give you a damage boost for hitting 3 separate targets, as we talked about. We also have Adrenaline Junkie. This is going to give you a stacking damage boost after every kill. Then we have Demolitionist, and this is going to give you grenade energy upon a kill. We also have Rampage, and this is going to give you a stacking damage bonus after every single kill. Then we have Multi-Kill Clip, and Multi-Kill Clip is my favorite because the way that it works is after you get a few rapid kills and you reload, you're going to be increasing your damage up to 50% for a short duration. So if you pair Multi-Kill Clip and Feeding Frenzy together, you're going to get some rapid kills. You're going to reload ridiculously fast. You're going to have a 50% damage increase. So you're just going to be shredding through targets, and then you're going to get some kills, you're going to reload, and you're going to start it all over again. So in theory, this weapon is always going to have a 50% damage increase. It's a fantastic option. It's a world drop, so you're just going to have to go play the game, and eventually you'll get one. But it's a very good option, and I would highly recommend checking this thing out. Moving on from Arc, we're going to jump into Void, and we've got 3 options here, but we only have one that's really viable right now. The Age-Old Bond and the Reckless Oracle are both part of raids right now. The reason why I'm not suggesting these 2 weapons is because sometime in the future, we're going to be getting a origin trait and an updated perk pool and the ability to craft these weapons. So the reason why I wouldn't suggest going out and grinding for these 2 right now is because you're just going to waste your time. You're going to have to regrind for those weapons again in the future. So if you don't have them now, don't even worry about it. Just go for the Gnawing Hunger, which is already arguably better than both of those weapons. Now, as far as the Gnawing Hunger goes, it is an adaptive frame. So again, fast firing, high magazine, high damage. It's all around good. Go for the same barrel and magazine that I've been talking about. And then for the perks, we have a small perk pool, so it fits nicely. Subsistence for the first perk column. It's going to give you a little bit of ammo back after every single kill. And then for the second perk column, we've got quite a few options. We have Rampage, stacking damage buff after every kill. Multi-kill clip, after a few kills you reload, you get a damage increase. We also have Demolitionist and Swashbuckler. Demolitionist is going to give you grenade energy back and then reload when you throw your grenade. Swashbuckler is going to give you a stacking damage bonus from kills with this weapon and melee kills. Personally, these are all very good perks, but I'm going to go with something like Demolitionist and Subsistence. This is going to give me ammo back and grenade energy back. If you want to get this weapon, it comes from Dares of Eternity in the week 2 rotation. If you're not sure what that is, every single week the Dares of Eternity loot rotates. So if you're confused on which week we're on, just go look it up on Google. Be like, hey, what rotation are we in for the loot pool for Dares of Eternity? And it'll tell you. Then we move on to our final category, and this is Stasis. And we have basically the same weapon in both categories, but one is going to shoot very, very fast and one is going to shoot very, very slow. So that is totally up to you as to whether you like the fast firing or the slow firing weapons. First of all, we have the Herod C auto rifle, which is a high impact frame, so it's going to shoot slow, but it's going to hit very, very hard. As far as the magazine and barrel goes, same as before. Arrowhead break, tac mag, ally mag, something like that. Now, the perk pool on this weapon is very big, so for the first perk column, we got quite a few options, but I really only have one that I'm going for. Some secondary suggestions would be 4th times the charm, subsistence, shoot to loot, stuff like that. But the main perk I'm going for is stats for all. I like those stat boosts, the increased reload speed, handling, range, all that, very, very good. Then in the second perk column, we have stuff like Headstone, Demo, Multi-Kill Clip, Frenzy, One for All. These are all very good, but I'm going for One for All because I like that damage increase from hitting 3 separate targets. Now, if you're running a Stasis build, I totally recommend you run Headstone over One for All. This is going to give you a Stasis Crystal if you get a precision kill, so this is going to pair very nicely with any Stasis build. Now, the fast firing option for the Stasis category is the Crate, and this is a rapid fire frame, so again, fast firing, low damage, and it is about the same perk pool. Go for the same barrel, same magazine. The first perk column, we got stats for all and subsistence. I'm going for stats for all. We also have overflow. Overflow is interesting. If you pick up special ammo or heavy ammo, it's going to overload the magazine by a significant amount, so I think you can get up to like a 100 round magazine on the Crate, which is pretty ridiculous. Then for the second perk column, we also have Headstone and One for All. Personally, if I was going to do this, I'm going for stats for all, One for All, but Headstone is there for those Stasis builds. Now with these Stasis auto rifles, I'm definitely going for the Herod C because I like that high damaging, low rate of fire. It also just feels a little better to me than the Crate does, but that's totally up to you. They're both very good weapons, and honestly, it's just up to the player's feel. Both of these weapons are very easy to get. The Crate is just a world drop, and the Herod C comes from Gambit. I know not a lot of people like Gambit, but it's really not that hard to get one of these. You just go play and it'll drop. Well, that is it for the auto rifle meta. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you found it useful. There are lots of good options in this game. There's like 30 or 40 auto rifles, and these are the best of the best in each category. If you found this video entertaining or informative, share this video with a friend and subscribe. It would mean so much to me. We're pretty small right now, but we're growing quickly, and I've got lots of Destiny content coming up in the future. So stick around and have a wonderful day, Guardians.